all artistic expressions right now are expressions of people who are privileged, who are probably benefiting from the status quo, or in the least, they are not being harmed by the status quo, and it serves to their benefit if they don't question it.
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of Joking Apart, an occasional series which hopes to depict what is peculiar, strange, bizarre about contemporary life through the eyes of the people who depict it most faithfully, the joker men and the funny women who have now posed a challenge to traditional media in ways that cannot be combated. We are with Sanjay Rajoura, stand up comedian, political satirist, and also an op ed writer, who you may have seen in shows like his own Jat Ki Mood, In the Occupation, and besides in Ye Bhi Theek Hai and the old Aisi Taisi Democracy. He has his own YouTube channel called The Fourth Dimension with Sanjay Rajoura. So, Sanjay, you were in a very standard job somewhere in America, as far as I know,
Yep.
and it was probably a boring job, as jobs tend to be. Didn't offer much opportunity for self-expression. Jobs tend to be the beige colored. So when you switched, why did you switch specifically to comedy? What did it offer you, this medium, that other media don't?
Actually, I did not switch to comedy. I actually decided to quit the job. As you said, they're all pretty boring. They don't offer much except for good money. But then after a point, you realize that money is not it's not going to satisfy your curiosity. Money actually kills your curiosity. So I I quit my job and I came back to India, and stand-up comedy was not a conscious choice, and it was never a choice actually. It was, and I still don't think that I do comedy. I just speak my mind about the things that are happening around me, and I just started doing that. And people said it's stand-up comedy. I said okay, pay me. Yeah. So I don't think I consciously. The only thing that I have taken two decisions in my life that are conscious. One is to quit my job, and one is to never get married. Everything else just happened.
Okay. So right now, I mean, what intrigues me is that whole generation of angry young men and women have turned to comedy. Earlier, these sentiments, these feelings used to be visually expressed in movies like, Zanjeer, Art Satya, Satya. But what is it about comedy that makes it the appropriate channel now for articulating this anger about our social and political situation?
Well, Pratik, I would say that stand-up comics in India are not necessarily angry. Most of the people who are into this business of stand-up comedy are happy with the status quo. They are not protesting, they are not raising issues, they are not asking questions to the powers to be. So I'm not sure whether I agree with your thing that it's an expression of anger, because like most things in India, all artistic expressions right now are expressions of people who are privileged, who are probably benefiting from the status quo, or in the least, they are not being harmed by the status quo, and it serves to their benefit if they don't question it. So, and it's very typical of an Indian society where all the mics are taken over by privilege, and then they come up with a narrative, uh, and they call it comedy. For me, is uh, comedy is if you take clothes off satire.
Okay.
Satire is the thing that attracts me. Comedy without satire is naked privilege. I don't think that if you look at the sample size of comics in India, I don't think they are questioning the power. And one of the reasons, I personally think that the reason it is called stand up, because you have to stand up to something. And if you don't do that, then you are. It's like in the early 90s when the liberalization happened in this country, and everybody was a software engineer. So I think post 2012, 13, 14, 15, or whatever the year, everybody is a comic without even realizing that they are actually reinforcing all the feudal stereotypes that that plague this country. The fault lines, all the fault lines are being reinforced. So one of the things that happens is that people who have a mic and who have an audience, they have easily internalized, or not even internalized, but captured the liberal vocabulary. It's very simple. It's very simple for a guy to come and say that I'm a male feminist, while making jokes which are clearly not feminist.
Exactly. Yeah.
And it's also very simple for a woman to come and say, I'm a feminist because I'm a woman. It's the worst of the identity politics. So, and while at the same time cracking jokes which are pro patriarchy in a very, very, if you deconstruct those jokes, they are extremely patriarchal. And then similarly there are many women who have come out and said that I'm gay, so but their jokes are extremely homophobic. Similarly, there are anti-caste men who claim they are anti-caste, but their jokes are extremely casteist. And none of these people. So see, for me, the important thing is, are you questioning the power? And right now, you see, the important thing in a dictatorship is there is only one power. And if you are not questioning that power, everything else is working for the dictator, because you are now diverting the attention from the dictator to identity politics, for example. And one of my favorite, George Carlin, has said that once you reduce your politics to identity politics, you have officially screwed yourself.
Yep.
So to answer your question, I don't think that comics in India are angry. Comics in India are very happy. They're very happy. They're getting the stage just like their parents, their grandparents, and their forefathers got the stage and the mic. They are very happy with the status quo. They are never questioning anything. They are never challenging anything. And dare I say, they are extremely poor in knowledge. They don't know history. They don't know political science. They don't know physics. They don't know chemistry. They don't know mathematics. And if you look at it, there is a phenomena in stand-up comedy in India that has, recently taken a lot of. It has grown like an apple tree, which gives you many apples. Is that crowd work? If you look at some of these people, and crowd work is a thing that when you talk to the audience and you try to create humor out of that. So if you look at some of the crowd works that is happening in India, is, what is your name? Oh, what do you do? Oh, okay. And then crack a stupid joke about that. And especially if there is a man and a woman sitting together.
Yes.
Are you guys dating? Oh, since when? Oh, are you guys married? Oh, he didn't propose. I mean, I'm not in kindergarten to, pay for this or listen to this. So
Yeah,
if you think this is angry, then
yeah, I agree
stop.
with you. I mean, very often, I mean, what you're describing, those interactions in which they work the crowd, they they are cruel and obscene.
Yeah, and they're bullies.
Frequently. Yeah, there's a lot of bullying going on.
And it's actually bullying when you're on stage with a mic and bullying the audience who is paid, who's actually confined.
Yep,
It's punching down.
of course.
And why don't you bully the government? Why don't you bully your parents? Why don't you bully the authorities? Why don't you bully your uh, the systems that have traditionally humiliated and exploited and deprived people of their rights? Never.
What I'm wondering is, can a feudal society featuring a lot of inequality and an inbuilt pecking order of caste and class, particularly caste, can it actually do a Western style democracy? Can it flourish there? This is a question that has come and gone repeatedly for the last, I don't know, maybe 100 years.
See, I personally think that I have my own critique of democracy, whether that's Western or Eastern or whatever. But I personally think that as a society, we in India, in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, or and I've traveled to these countries to know, we are not democratic.
Hmm.
We are feudal. We absolutely believe in patriarchy. We look up to a patriarch, and we are encouraged not to question, and then we imbibe it
Yeah.
and call it sanskar and culture. And so democracy thrives on a very simple principle, that everybody has the same rights and everybody is allowed to ask questions. But if you look at the smallest unit in our society, the family, not everybody is equal,
And no
and not
questions asked.
everybody is no everybody is allowed to ask questions.
Yeah.
And it's really a fool's dream to imagine that these people will go out and vote for democracy. They will not. Why do you think Narendra Modi is the most popular uh, elected leader in this country? And this is across classes, whether it's the working class, whether it's the middle class, whether it's the upper class, because he is a mirror image of the patriarch in our family.
And he tells you what to do.
Yeah. And the patriarch who never smiles at home but is always doing kiki outside.
Right. Yeah.
So democracy is actually, as much as it is political, it is also cultural and it is also personal.
Mhm.
So in our personal lives, we are hardly, I've seen so many young people, men, women, boys and girls both, who go to protest sites and who keep on shouting over there, हम क्या चाहते हैं, आज़ादी लेके रहेंगे, आज़ादी कुछ भी कर लो, आज़ादी. And their father is voting for a
Bilkul.
fascist.
Yeah.
Okay, and then when you ask them, "So why don't you fight with your father?" No, I love my dad. He's my dad. I can't go against my dad. So is this democracy? This is just succumbing to fascism.
Yeah.
So in a nutshell, Indian society is so prone to fascism because we grew up in fascism.
That's true. But right now, I think there's a new phase of curtailment of speech and progress in India, because individuals who speak online are being brought under the purview of rules which earlier applied only to institutions.
Mm-hmm.
So even people like you are going to be under that net of censorship. And You won't
Yeah,
have.
I've been picked up by the cops. I've been interrogated for like 20 hours at a stretch.
Mhm.
But I was
When
not
was that?
surprised.
What was the issue at
This
that
was
time?
this was in 2023.
Okay, and what was the issue? What was objected to?
Uh, well, I still don't know why they picked me up. But my
Okay,
gadgets, my laptop, my phone, and everything is with them.
right.
So if you remember, then in 2023 there was a case against NewsClick.
Yes, of course.
So many people were picked up. I was one of them, and I was not even a part of NewsClick.
And that started as a very, highly dramatized and uninformed story in the New York Times.
Yeah,
वहाँ
it
से
started
शुरू
with the
हुआ
New
था.
York Times.
Yes.
Yeah,
And then the government used that as an opportunity.
yeah, but I was not surprised actually, and to expect this government to respect your rights or your privacy or uh, uh, I mean, no, I don't. So I was not surprised. So when you say that there are new rules that have come up and who they are censoring us, well, what else do you expect? Do you expect this government to say that Hindu Muslim bhai bhai
No, of course
communal
not.
harmony?
No, my what I was interested in is that usually this kind of process produces self-censorship. It did so
Mhm.
in organized, traditional media, old style media, and now it must be happening among individual producers of content also. Have you
Yeah,
experienced this among people you know? I'm not,
yeah.
I'm
I
not
mean,
asking for
people
specific
might,
names.
yeah, people might do it by, but I personally think that the most difficult times for satire are the best time for satire.
Of course, yes.
And if you self censor, then you are doing their job.
But at the same time, what you said initially, that comics in India are mostly beneficiaries of the hierarchical system, and they're maintaining it. That
Yeah.
is, usually not articulated, and I think that was a very important point that you made. And so I think this is a good point to thoughtful point to close on, because I mean, really, it's no laughing matter, the the pressures that your community is under right now, your colleagues and so on, and it's very remarkable that you keep going
No, when you say your community, what do you mean? I mean, do you mean stand up
professionally.
comedy?
And people who are in the same stand up space.
No, no, Pratik, I want to tell you that most of the stand up guys are the guys the state wants them to perform.
Okay.
They have no, no, they should not be scared of the state because state wants these people to perform. How many political stand-ups have you seen coming out from India? Criticism of the government, criticism of society, criticism of I mean, it's very easy to say boyfriend girlfriend humor, sex humor,
Right.
and professional humor, and it's not even humor.
It's not. It's very low quality humor,
Yeah.
actually, mostly. There are very
So
few people doing good work.
do know they if any stand-up comic in India comes and says that I'm scared because the government is after me, he or she is bullshitting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Apart
But
from two or three names, Kunal Kamra, Varun Grover,
yeah,
probably Puneet Pania, Masum Rajwani,
yeah.
these are on these are just four guys that I know of.
At the same time,
And, and important thing, Pratik, these four guys never say that we are scared.
they don't. No.
The other one says,
Yeah. Now, but at the same time, I follow a number of individual news programmers on YouTube, and they have been touched by the work done in the comedy and satire space. They are occasionally quite satirical, and I find that uh, the import of their programming, which I receive, constitutes much more reliable news than I might get from a number of official sources.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
true.
find that very hopeful.
Yeah,
Actually, the influence of the form has moved beyond the performance space. So
I agree with you, but I also disagree with you at the same. You understand? We live in India. We do it half and half. We
yeah,
agree and disagree at the same time. Uh, yes, it has given expression to a lot of people, but it has given expression to a lot of stupid people and privileged people. Okay, so yes, I think that this space that is available can be used to ask questions, but what the space is being used, imagine a stand-up comic actually cracked a joke on stage that IIT में लोग या तो कोटा से जाते हैं या कोटा से जाते हैं.
oh, that's really dreadful.
Now you tell me कि is this is exactly the thing that we are fighting.
Right, absolutely. Yeah,
Unless these fault lines are closed, unless these issues are addressed, and there are a couple of Dalit comics who are now getting stage, and look at what they're talking about. It's amazing.
yeah. Caste is one of the overarching
You know,
subjects in
one
India.
one Dalit comic, and he comes on stage and he says, "I am a Dalit, but I identify as a Brahmin."
Very good.
Now cancel him. So yeah, this is what I want to listen to. This is what I want to go for. Buy a ticket and go for. And
Right.
it's extremely hard hitting. And then at the same time, there is a comic who comes on stage. He's a very popular comic in India who comes on stage and says to the audience, "आपका क्या नाम है?" He says, "आसमान." बैठे तो जमीन पे हो.
Now, what you're describing about the Dalits also happened in Indian literature, particularly poetry.
Yep.
When the Dalit poets came up, suddenly they were identified across the spectrum. Started in Maharashtra, and
Yeah.
suddenly it was everywhere, and it was a completely new and refreshing way of looking at your own society.
Yes.
So
And
maybe
whether
that will
it's,
happen in this space also. I
I
hope
mean,
it does.
I'm just saying, sir, that the problem is that this space, when I started doing stand up, I was probably one of the first few. Okay. And it has been almost 20 years. And you tell me how many Dalit comics you know.
I haven't seen any at all.
So, and you must have seen plenty of upper caste
Huh.
comics in India.
I'm sure. Yes.
So it is a reflection of the society that we are, who we are. So we are still fighting the battle which should have been resolved the day that we got independence.
Yes.
And the problem is that all these people who come on stage, they barely recognize, they don't even acknowledge that they're privileged. Up, imagine karo, somebody is performing in Bandra in Bombay in a club where the ticket is 1,000 rupees.
Got it.
Who will come to the club?
Absolutely got it.
The upper caste privilege will come, and the jokes will be the ones जिस पे upper caste privilege हंसेगा.
Yes.
So where do the Dalits fit in? So if a Dalit comics goes there, उसका ticket ही नहीं बिकेगा 1,000 रुपए का.
Right.
And if he comes on stage, or he or she comes on stage and says that you upper caste people, you know, whatever the joke is, they will all walk away.
Yeah.
Or they might even, be physically violent towards the guy.
That's true.
So I think after Bollywood, stand-up comedy is the most convoluted space in India. Most convoluted. It has everything. It has misandry, it has misanthropy, it has casteism, it has bigotry, it has Islamophobia. Everything is there.
But I do
Even the
hope it
Muslim.
changes.
Sorry?
I do hope it changes because, like you're saying, some new influences are coming into that space.
It will only change. Again, I'll come back to the same point that it all starts within your house. If a comic is coming from an upper caste Brahmin family who believes in superiority of Brahminism,
Hmm.
goes out and performs and come back to the same house, that is the workspace, this is the home, this will not change, I can change that, nothing will change. Right now, I'll give you an example. A friend of mine, day before yesterday, I met him for breakfast, and he said that he has written a story for Wire on how Bajrang Dal activists identify people in Uttarakhand that a Hindu girl and a Muslim boy have gone into a hotel, and then they catch them, and then they whatever ruckus they create.
Right.
So he wrote a story and he gave it to Wire, and the editor or whoever he gave the story to told this guy, you know what, you as an objective journalist, you should take the other side of the story also.
Hmm.
Basically telling him to take the side of the Bajrang Dal's, what their story is.
No, I know what you mean. That model is become it's become much less relevant than it used to be
And
because it's an unequal world now.
this mentality, if somebody did a story in Auschwitz and gave it to the editor, if editor came back and said you should talk to SS guys also. The problem with this society is that we are morally corrupt. We don't have integrity. We don't have
Hmm.
moral integrity. Right? Can anybody come on stage and talk about the moral corruption that exists in their own families?
No.
Aren't families the basic building units of a democratic society? If the basic building unit is not imandar, it's not democratic, it's not liberal, how do you expect the society to be democratic, liberal, and imandar?
Right. That's true. So
ये जो अभी
on
Pratik
that,
sir,
uh,
just one line. You must be knowing about the NEET paper leak.
oh yes, of course.
Okay, who bought the papers? When the paper got leaked, who bought the papers?
Hmm.
Parents of the students.
Of course, yes.
Okay, and some of the students who could not afford the papers, their parents are voting for Modi. So, whose side do you take?
It is black comedy. Yes,
Yeah.
that's true. So on that very rather negative note, I mean, we started as a program which would eventually take on some of the peculiar issues and funny issues and so on. But
I'm so sorry. I'm
actually, the
dark.
black humor is actually more important right
Yeah.
now, and I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you did that. Thank you very much,
Thank you,
Sanjay.
Pratik. Thank
And
you,
it would be
bhai.
a pleasure to have you on again.